Good afternoon, members of the press corps. We're here today to update the public on the proposed changes to the work permit policies in the closed, restricted, special, and open categories. This government recognizes the importance of including every member of our community in the decision-making process. To that end, we are asking for your feedback on the proposed changes. Before I go into the details, I would like to acknowledge Dr. Danette Ming, the Chief Immigration Officer, and thank her for her participation in the press conference this afternoon. In the government speech from the throne, we pledged that our immigration laws will better reflect our mandate of putting Bermudians first. This includes ensuring that Bermudians can secure employment in their own country. To achieve this objective, I have tasked the Department of Immigration with making improvements to our work permit policies. And we wanted a policy that strikes the right balance between the legitimate expectations of Bermudians and the legitimate labor needs of businesses. With this in mind, the jobs suggested for the closed category for which work permit applications are not permitted are ground agents, retail floor supervisors, general laborers, office receptionists, painters, tourist retail salespersons, taxi drivers, wallpaper technicians, grocery packers, cashiers, and couriers. The restricted category. This is where work permit applications for these jobs will be carefully considered and may not result in the approval of a work permit. In addition, the jobs in this category must be referred to the Department of Workforce Development so that a suitable Bermudian who is registered with the Department of Workforce Development can be referred to employers. It is expected that any referrals to employers will be seriously considered for employment for the relevant job. Positions that are in the restricted category are bank tellers, general customer-facing bartenders, carpet installers, commercial cleaners, entertainers, fishermen, photographers, technical salespersons, travel agents, general carpenters, administrative assistants, room attendants, kitchen porters, dish and pot washers, kitchen assistants, landscape gardeners, entry-level masons. In contrast to the closed and restricted category work permits, applicants in the special categories, which include child care giver, beauty salon, spa and hairdressing staff, barbers, family support, fine artists, graduate trainees, hospital nurse, hospitality, seasonal work permit interns, live-in domestic employees, locum pharmacist, occasional work permit with the models and cashiers for part-time employment, musicians, entertainers, music school teachers, photographers, restaurant staff. Others in that category are special employed persons and part owners of Bermuda businesses, or any category where I deem that a large number of Bermudians should be considered for work permits. Finally, jobs which are not listed on the closed, restricted, or special categories are considered an open category, and work permits applications may be applied for. It is hoped that any changes made will assist in skills, job enhancement, training, and development opportunities for Bermudians who may be unemployed, underemployed, or are looking for a career change. Before proceeding with the proposed changes, the government would like to have your feedback and your suggestions. In summation, we have restricted, closed, open categories and special categories. Before we do anything, we want to get the Bermuda public support. If you know of any job that you believe should be closed, restricted, or put in a special category, we're asking for your feedback. Oftentimes, people stop me on the street, or they email me, or they call me, and they share the reason why they believe certain jobs should not be given to expatriate workers. Well, we're asking for your feedback. If you heard a job category called and you believe that it should not be on that list, we're asking for your feedback. We want to make a balanced decision, but we're asking for members of the public to give us your feedback on closed, open, restricted categories to make sure that we make a balanced decision. The public are invited to send their concerns and their comments to www.forum.gov.bm. That address again is www.forum.gov.bm. The closing date for all of the submissions will be May 14th. We believe that any decision that is made will affect us all. So it is of the utmost importance that everyone be given the opportunity and follow through with voicing their concerns, their opinions, and providing their feedback by May 14th, 2019. Are there any questions?
Good afternoon, Minister.
Good afternoon, sir.
So 4 categories you listed there: closed category, restricted, special, and open. Are these completely new classifications?
They are not new classifications. They exist.
Okay.
So what the challenge is we're doing some reform in immigration.
Mm-hmm.
We are trying to get the public's input. And so there are a number of people that have opinions. They believe that specific categories should be changed. What we're trying to do now is have the members of the general public make submissions. I also should say, if a person does not have access to the internet, simply put your thoughts in an envelope and submit it to the immigration department on the first floor in the government administration building.
So the specific jobs, I guess you outlined, that fall under these, has there been movement in some of these? Is the update that there's been changes within these categories?
I will go back and say, whilst we do not want to preempt the process, we believe, and the object of this exercise is to list those categories, but what we're trying to do is get from the general public in all of the categories what they would like to see. If they believe there is a category, something enclosed. Closed categories are something to which work permits should not be applied for. Give us the reason why you believe that this job should be closed.
Okay.
Special restricted categories, those are work permits that will not be definite, they will be considered, and they must go to workforce development before they are considered by the immigration board. Mm-hmm. We're asking people to think of jobs and people that are doing roles in Bermuda that you believe should be in the restricted category, and so on and so forth. We are giving the Bermudian people that are in Bermuda the opportunity to make submissions on what they feel for the aforementioned categories.
Okay, so the categories themselves and the jobs you ran down, that's how things currently stand?
That is correct.
There's been no changes to those. What you're asking for is public input on if the public likes the way it's currently structured or if they want changes to it. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, just wanted to make sure I understood. You had previously said on the topic of immigration reform that legislation could be tabled by July 29th this
Yes,
summer.
sir.
Is that still a time frame we're looking at?
Thank you for that question. We are working diligently. The Immigration Parliamentary Subcommittee, it has been working diligently. We believe by the end of this parliamentary session, we will look on the issue. We will definitely be able to have legislation that will go through the parliamentary process on mixed status families. We will be looking closely on dealing with the belongers issue. We'll be looking at the issue specifically on this occasion of children that are born to Bermudian parents overseas. And so we'll be looking to pass legislation on those things specifically this parliamentary session. There are other things within the gambit of immigration reform that indeed remain a work in progress. Mm-hmm. And so the people of Bermuda should understand that immigration reform is still going ahead. Mm-hmm. There are significant parts of it that we're looking at. The first part of it is we're looking at the processes and the procedures in the Department of Immigration. How do we make that run smoothly? Where are any of the challenges in that department, and working on that. The second part of it that we looked at was are there people in our community that are working without immigration control? And so you would see that 4 months ago we did an email address, and in that email address we and that phone number that we gave to the general public, people were asked to make a tip line, if you please, to give us information if we knew that there were people that were working in Bermuda without the right immigration control. I've spoken most recently to our compliance officer, and the tips into the tip line is acting robustly, and we feel that it is a significant arrow in the quiver of the Department of Immigration, and that's thanks to the people of Bermuda. In other words, there were concerns that people were in Bermuda without the proper immigration control. This government decided to put in or refresh key elements of it, and we believe that we've heard from the people of Bermuda. People have called in to the tip line, they've made email, and we now have significant information coming into the Department of Immigration.
So just so I'm clear there too, belonger and mixed status families will be addressed in legislation coming up in this session.
Go back.
Yeah.
We believe the mixed status legislation will be go through the parliamentary process. The belongers issue is something that is at the fore. I cannot speak to specifically without it going through the parliamentary process of whether or not that will make it through the process, but that will be at the fore in a specific manner this parliamentary year.
Appreciate that, Minister.
Good afternoon, Minister.
Good afternoon, sir.
You've mentioned a number of different categories. Have you had any interaction or pushback from industry stakeholders?
That's what this is about. Pushback, I don't like to use that nomenclature. The purpose of this enterprise is to hear what Bermudians have to say, to hear what business has to say, to hear what the average man and woman in our community have to say. We are a composite of each other. And so what we wanted to do is we wanted to hear and see what people are saying. What are the touch points? What are the challenges? Where are Bermudians getting opportunities? Remember the mandate of putting Bermudians first. There are a number of Bermudians who are finding themselves not being able to work, not having the right jobs. And we believe there are opportunities for people that are doing specific things in Bermuda, that Bermudians with the right training or with the right getting upskills that they can do.
Looking at just one or maybe two of the categories, when we're talking about registered nurses and even pharmacists, obviously the college has a nursing program that Bermudians can get trained in. Just clarify how the issue of permits could be affected when you're looking at an industry where they obviously can't hire Bermudians if they don't have the prerequisite training.
So special categories, right, is a category where people are deemed to have a special skill set. And we believe that when looking at the special category, and let's be clear, there are certain jobs on this list that still might not be applicable based on limitations in our community. We believe that 1 or 2 jobs might come off. We believe there might be 5 or 6 jobs that go on. And that's why we're going through this process. This process is we're turning over the proverbial apple cart. We're looking at this thing in a different manner. To be clear, the object of this enterprise is not only to find jobs for Bermudians, is to look where the skill gaps are, to link with the Bermuda College, to link with workforce development, to find out where the doubts or where the gaps are with skills and employment so we can hone and bring all those things together. The object, and pardon me for just tarrying here for a second, comprehensive immigration reform is a significant undertaking. A big part of the first part of this was putting some key parts in place. That was the part where if somebody was working illegally, where you can tell and make a complaint or highlight that part. We believe that is working well. The second part to immigration reform is making sure that Bermudians are being given the right opportunity. This is a part of that. This government will not shy away from the fact that we want Bermudians to have a place of primacy in their own country. It is not xenophobic. It is us making sure that we have the right training, the right development, and the right opportunities for Bermudians. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.